It is so beautiful to see you all here today. I'm really, really touched that you all made the effort to come here with a snowstorm pending. So I will be brief, but I do have things to share and to say. Thank you so much for the award. I am deeply honored and deeply grateful to be a graduate of Livingston College. I'd like to begin with one of my favorite poems by Lucille Clifton titled, "Won't You Celebrate With Me?" Won't you celebrate with me what I have shaped into a kind of life? I had no model, born in Babylon, both non-white and woman. What did I see to be except myself? I made it up, here on this bridge between starshine and clay. My one hand holding tight my other hand. Come celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and has failed. And now, a love letter to Livingston. Picture it, Quad 1, House 18. It's the year 2000, and I'm in the first year student dorm. I've just joined residence life, and I'm leading my first community icebreaker. A young woman from Chicago who just moved into the third floor, Alicia Pillar, is my partner for the activity, and we end up quickly realizing that we had a lot in common. We were curly-headed brown girls who had recently traveled to Costa Rica and had similar music tastes. She was my first mentee 18 years ago, and she's one of my closest friends now. Res Life parties at Dean Haynes' apartment was the jam. I know you know. And we would sway to Stevie Wonder, and Mustafa Rourke would sing so loud and so proud. The energy on Livingston was electric when I was living here. On Tuesday nights, Katie Bergalt and I, at 8:30 in the evening, co-facilitated our weekly Student Action Union meetings in the Livingston Student Center. Our members traveling from College Ave, Douglas, Bush campus centers to organize together, and I am proudly rocking my Student Action Union Free the University button that was gifted to me. Those years were the cornerstone of me being a community activist and really growing into that. Those years were where I learned to lead with love, vision, and integrity. Some folks here in the audience tonight organized with me our rally against police brutality after Amadou Diallo was shot 41 times in the Bronx. And some of us performed for the first time at our annual social justice conference, rising up on all fronts. I'm looking at you, Jay. We created our own posters, and we ran around this town with a heavy-duty stapler, and we would get the word out about our events through phone banking and late-night email blasts from the Tillett Computer Lab. It was here where I sharpened my leadership skills bit by bit, learning how to pair empathy with intersectional solidarity and courage. And now here I am, 18 years later, still doing this work, helping students transition from high school to college, whether they've been out of school for 1 year or for 25 years. Let me give you a breakdown of the student population that I am honored to serve at Bronx Community College. 98% of our student population are Latinx, Black, or Asian Pacific Islander. Yes, you heard right, 98%. For 58% of the student body, the annual household income is less than $20,000. 45% of my students are first generation. 24% are supporting dependent children. 52% are working, either part-time jobs or full-time jobs. Some see these statistics and quickly label my students at risk or high need. But to quote the film Black Panther that recently came out, I hope y'all saw it, if you didn't, you need to see it. I see our students as the vibranium of the Bronx. Just like our students here on Livingston was the vibranium of Rutgers University. Our students are our most precious resource. They are more precious than gold. And they live at the crosshairs of structural inequality and oppression. They also live in ongoing states of rebirth and resilience, charting new territory as they re-envision themselves as scholars in training, redefining what it is to be inside a true learning community. The students in my college readiness seminar astound me week by week with their wisdom and their insight. When I shared with my students that I have always feared public speaking, they're often surprised. A couple of weeks ago, my student Alexandria Castillo said in a class just a couple weeks ago, she said, when we get up on stage, our imaginations can run wild, and we make people out to be aliens, monsters, or demons. But they're just flesh and bone, just like you and me. See that vibranium? When my students participated in the National School Walkout last week, it was them who led the way and gave impassioned speeches in Spanish and English on gun violence and the school-to-prison pipeline, where they experience that every single day. It's a topic where they are experts. No más violencia was their rallying cry. So why are we surprised when first-year students across the country come to college academically underprepared for college-level work and get trapped into remedial classes? It happened to me. When I started my journey at Livingston, I was placed in an intermediate algebra class during my first semester. I was really bummed out about the math because I didn't know I was supposed to prepare for a placement test. Nobody told me. I had taken intermediate algebra in 8th and 9th grade, but it had been a few years, so I just really needed a refresher. When Dean Paula Van Riper created my first year schedule, I was placed in remedial math, XPOS 101, and building community, which is a first year seminar that Tim Grimm led, and I got 100%. I remember that. I was really proud of my 100% for my 1 credit grade in that class, and that took place in the Quad 1 Lounge with everyone that I lived with on campus in the first year student dorm. What's perhaps most painful is the realization that given the current Rutgers admissions profile, I may have been overlooked based on my own SAT scores. You know, I had a strong personal statement, but nobody helped me with the application process. My mama, who's sitting right here in her beautiful sari, and my dad, who is somewhere above, were working full-time, and although they had degrees from India, they were totally unfamiliar with the college application process in the US. They basically said, thumbs up, good luck with that. So mentorship was the key to my success. And that's when I learned when you touch one life, there's exponential growth. Not only in this student's academic journey, but across generations. So how do we create a culture of belonging in higher education, where each student is nurtured and their perspective is valued? How do we respond mindfully to emergent academic, financial, and basic survival needs that must be met so students can truly thrive? Higher education is changing right before our eyes. And I'm so glad that Livingston was my rock, it was my cornerstone, it was my foundation. So truly, I share this award with each and every one of you. Thank you to my comrades from the Livingston Alumni Association. Michelle, you tricked me. Tricked me good. She had been sending me emails for the last month or so, and her last name has changed because she got married, and so I did not know that this was Michelle, that we used to be in Res Life together. We would train together, so I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Jason, for organizing too. Thank you to Eric and everybody, Mindy, who have just taken the time, really the time out of your very busy days in the midst of a snowstorm, just on top of your organizing. I'm really, truly touched. I also want to give some shout outs to my various squads. Dean Haynes, please raise your hand, Dean Haynes. Who threw these legendary parties. y'all didn't come, I'm so sorry for you, because they were so good. And he would always treat the Res Life staff like we were vibranium, like we were gold, and he always made time for us. And that office, I will tell you that the crisis management training that I did over the summer with Res Life, that is actually my foundation for the work that I do today with my students. When I hold mediations, when I talk to them, my approach was all informed by that experience when I was in Res Life. I also want to shout out CUNY START, which is the program that I am honored to work for, that works with remedial students at the City University of New York. I want to shout out Bronx Community College. I want to shout out the Sadie Nash Leadership Project. Woo-hoo! Y'all should clap for them. They are amazing, amazing organization. They are based in Newark, New Jersey, and also in Manhattan. And we're building together a college access network, and the fantastic college advisors that I get to work with every single day. We are on emails 24/7, on Chains, Threads, and Chitrayer, the executive director, and Morgan, and Bonibel, and Kira. I see you, I love you, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to build out our vision and dream and work together to really change what college is all about, and to really create a peer support network that will empower our students who we love and we care for, because we're a learning community. I also want to obviously give thanks to the Munagala family, who has really taken me on as their daughter. Pratima, you're my homegirl. And my wife, Kavi, who is beautifully recording, so I'm gonna just let you do your thing. My wife moved here from India about 2 years ago, and it's been a journey of love. It has been a deep journey of love. And to Kenny, who's been working on the Facebook Live, thank you, my friends. Appreciate you, love you. And Katie, we got our pins, so we got our, Student Action Union pins. And last but not least, my mama. Look, mama, we made it. Look what happened. Look what happened. Working 30 years in the Bronx, from Jersey to Teaneck, New Jersey, to a little nursing home across the street from Manhattan College. When I attended graduate school in Columbia, my mom would tell me this story that when she would see students in Morningside Heights in the 70s, when she first moved, she would see these students with their backpacks. And she said to herself, I would never be allowed to be in a college like this. I would never be accepted in a place like this. But maybe one day I will have a son or a daughter who will go to Columbia. I'll tell you something. What I learned at Livingston College was my strong foundation for everything that came after. Every time I am in a school, a college, I always have Livingston in my mind, because that is the point of comparison. How did we build community here, right? How did we engage with each other in difficult conversations? How did we lead with love? How did we learn from our mistakes? How do we create sustainability? Not just for our time in college, which might be 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. Maybe we're still working on it. Maybe we're still works in progress. But when we have a strong peer support network that carries across generations, we learn to build vibranium. Thank you so much. Take it. My birthday's on Sunday, so I'll take all of it. Thank you. Thank you.